All eyes on me. All eyes on me. All eyes on me.
After a one-match weekend, the Ninja A-League is back to its full gamut of games for round 6. And what better way to start than a clash between two of the competition's top scorers this season. Melbourne Victory hosting Canberra United, two sides searching for back-to-back wins and looking to build form as the new campaign kicks into gear. They are two of the league's fastest starters when it's come to first-half goals this season, so you can expect this one to be box office from minutes 1 at the home of the Matildas. It is a matchup that starts a superb round 6 in the Ninja A-League. The F3 derby awaiting tomorrow before a triple treat on Sunday, headlined by the Sydney derby to round out the weekend. Adelaide United and Brisbane Roar facing off in a double header at Coopers Stadium, while Melbourne City and Wellington Phoenix clash in Casey will be one to keep an eye on as well. Both teams coming into today's game off the back of 3-0 wins against Perth Glory, but it is Victory who arrive atop the Ninja A-League, and a win today will keep them there for the weekend. And against Canberra, they'll have every confidence of securing it. They are 12 games unbeaten against the capital club, but after their postponed match last week, I have no doubt that Canberra will be champing at the bit for another opportunity to convert all of their early season promise into tangible points. Both sides making their way out onto the home of the Matildas field as we get into the lineups for both sides, starting with Melbourne Victory. One change for Jeff Hopkins, 11 after last week's win against Perth. They welcome back football fern Claudia Bunge from the international break. She comes into defence in place of Laura Pickett. New signing Rihanna Polacina will be on the hunt for goal number 4 in the heart of midfield, while in attack the league's top scorer Kennedy White partners Holly Furphy, who scored the last time these two sides went head-to-head at the home of the Matildas. And when the Matildas star Emily Gilnick departed Melbourne for Mexico, there were big questions as to how that number 9 spot would get filled. It is safe to say that Kennedy White has allayed those concerns. 5 goals in 5 games so far, on the hunt for a 6th today that would see her keep pace with Gilnick's incredible start to last season. Here's the Canberra United lineup, 13 days on from their last Ninja A-League game. It's an unchanged 11. The big inclusion arrives on the bench, where young gun Sophia Christofferson is in line to return from a hip injury that's kept her out of the opening month of the season. Captain Michelle Heyman starts despite having played for the Matildas. Sally James closes in on a special milestone today. It is her 50th appearance in the Ninja A-League, a journey that's taken the local Majura United Junior to the Matildas in a train-on capacity, hoping to mark today with a first ever win against Victory in those 50 games. There is Jeff Hopkins. He told media in midweek he was very pleased with his side's ruthlessness and creative play against Perth. No doubt the league's best attack will be after more of the same this evening. We've got referee Rachel Mitchinson in charge of this one for just the 2nd time of her 88-game Ninja A-League career. We also have a refereeing debutante in the Ninja A-League. Assistant referee Nicoletta Soteropoulos gets her first chance in the A-League setup this evening. There's Anthony Jagranick hoping to succeed where Canberra's 3 previous managers have failed and secure what would be Canberra's first win against Melbourne Victory in this state since 2016. It's the first of a 4-game burst in the space of the next 15 for Canberra United. Big test to come against Sydney FC and Melbourne City next week. But for now, all eyes turn to their task against the ladder leaders, Melbourne Victory. Of course, sitting top courtesy of an extra game against or ahead of all of the other teams in the competition. They were the only team alongside Perth to play in the international break last week. They have been far better so far, Canberra, and their record of just the solitary win would suggest. What better way to show that than a win today to break their Melbourne malaise. Great to have your company here at the home of the Matildas for the opening match of round 6 in the Ninja A-League. And you can keep your eye out for a early goal in this one. Two sides who have been hot starters this season. Canberra have scored 4 goals in the opening 15 minutes of matches. Now, great conditions for football in Victoria this afternoon. 25 degrees at kickoff with the setting sun in the background as this one heads back to Sally James. And they've been quick out of the blocks. Anthony Jaggernick's side scoring, taking leads. Hasn't been the issue so far. It's been holding on to them. Of those 4 games where they've scored first, they have only gone on to win 1. That was, of course, their last fixture against Perth. Far and away their most complete performance of the season. Headlined by that brilliant third and final goal for Bethany Gordon. And Robers, that one is picked off by a familiar face for Canberrans in Grace Marr. Low now. Heyman dropping back in to help out the Canberra defence. It's a long launch from Sally James. It's not been the happiest of hunting grounds in the last decade. The state of Victoria for Canberra United. Just 1 win in their last 16 trips to Victoria. Most recent of which back in March 2023 against Western United. Only 13 of the 17 players out there today for Canberra. Across the 11 and bench of... Well, those 13 have never, ever tasted a win against Victory in their career. As the aforementioned third goal scorer against Perth, Beth Gordon. Bertolicio launching it towards her. Taylor Young in support. That's where the ball travels. Firmly struck from Taylor Young, but that one is out of play. All the way out for a Melbourne Victory goal kick. And missed in the air by Kennedy White. As you can see in that back 3, Grace Marr sits alongside Kayla Morrison and Claudia Bunge in the Victory 11. Player whose career has spanned multiple stints at Melbourne Victory, but crucially with Canberra United as well, where her career started. As a 15-year-old, this is the foul from Rachel Lowe that's led to an early free kick for Canberra. 2 very proficient set-piece sides, these. Although that one is a little lacking in the height department from Bethany Gordon. Oh, to chase for Holly Furphy. Gets the delivery into the box. There at the front post is Kennedy White. Of course it is. Victory off to their perfect start in Bundoora. And it's Kennedy White at the heart of things again. A 6th in 6 for an American on fire. Furphy's delivery, pinpoints and glanced in by Kennedy White. May even have taken a touch off a Canberra defender en route, but Victory won't care. Nor will Kennedy White, whose red-hot start to the season continues regardless of where the final credit for the goal goes. For the first time this season, Canberra United find themselves behind to start a game. So used to being the team opening their accounts early on in the opening month. They've now got to go chasing. And the problem for them is if there is a side you do not want to go chasing a lead against, it is Melbourne Victory. Across 22 games that they have scored first over the last 2 seasons, yet to taste defeat in a single one. And you drop points from this position twice in that run of 22. So it's a real test of Canberra's mettle, this fixture already. Sakalis. Great to see her getting a consistent run of games and match minutes. In the second season at the Victory, Sophia Sakalis has already played more minutes this season than the entirety of the 24-25 campaign. She's been relishing it as well. 1 goal and 2 assists already. First ever Victory goal coming last week against Perth as Canberra looked to mount a response through Michelle Heyman. Good defending by Zoe McMeekin. Enough to win a goal kick for the home side. Talk about players who are having a brilliant start to season 25-26. Zoe McMeekin right up there in terms of the most impactful signings in the early knockings of the new season. Didn't necessarily have her pegged as a gallivanting, attack-minded fullback in her 4 seasons with the Wellington Phoenix, but Jeff Hopkins has really brought that out of her game so far. Goal and an assist already. Second in the league for chances created from fullback. Sasaki trying to play a pinpoint pass for Josie Olasino. The American, no stranger to the state of Victoria, spent the off-season of the Ninja A-League with Box Hill United. A couple of her former NPL teammates coming up against her today. I'll have happy memories of this ground as well. Won the NPLW Grand Final at the home of the Matildas on this very field. So Canberra have controlled the bulk of the possession early, but it's made little difference to the scoreline. Kennedy White. It's probably one of the first touches she's had since arriving in this competition that hasn't gone her way. 6th of the season already for her, which keeps her at pace with Emily Gilnick's start to the season last year. Certainly filling that void as Sakalis looks to get forward. The deflection unkind. Sally James splaying the palms here. Not best pleased with the options she's getting, the lack of movement, and in the end decides to go short for Liz Anton. She's had the chance to take on her Canberra teammate in Michelle Heyman this week. Another memory, or a match rather, she'll look back on with particular fond memories. Very successful international break for the Matildas as McMeekin just refused to let Hayley Taylor-Young by. You can see the wry smile of a player who's probably been the guilty party in that situation as a defender in years gone by. And Shevsky. Canberra are able to create a turnover with their shape this time around. Sasaki. Flipped over the top. Furphy hurdling after her. Bertolicio tracking back. Furphy with a big up and under, but no danger to the penalty area of Canberra United. You could see she was immediately looking to try and pick out a potential run of Kennedy White in the penalty area. It's been a bit of a fallow period overlapping from the back end of last season to this for Holly Furphy, but still been able to provide the goals this year. That was her second assist of the season for Kennedy White. And that's picked off by Lowe. Bertolicio tracking back to try and cover. Furphy to the left this time. It's a beautiful disguised pass, and Policina can't reach it because Anton is in the right place at exactly the right time. Great defensive positioning by the football Fern. Holly Furphy is proving a handful so far. A deep throw for victory. So McMeekin to take. Canberra United defence asking the question as to whether or not Rachel Lowe was in an offside position. And they've been able to spot in the background there a familiar face for both of these teams against the fence. Maya Markovsky, a former player of both of these clubs. And if Victory keep on racking up the corners at this end, it probably won't be the last you see of her either. The left boot of Alana Janchevsky to take. Victory were the best set-piece team last season, scored more corners than any other. And it comes from Janchevsky, tipped away by Sally James. Victory will get a corner at the opposite end. Going to be tricky situations for 23-year-old keeper this evening. That one well judged. And the awkwardness of the height of the delivery meant that punch away rather than a full attempt to claim, probably the smartest option. So to the opposite flag we head, and it'll be Policina's delivery now. It comes from her towards the back post, it heads. Robers glances away, McMeekin picking up the scraps. And recycling, Lowe's touch. Just a slightly heavy one. And Canberra able to clear into the lap of Sienna Dale, who is trusting her pace. We'll have to largely go it alone here in the foot race with Grace Marr, who gets across well. It's the old Canberra face who triumphs against the new this time. Sienna Dale, this new look attack either side of Michelle Heyman. Getting back-to-back starts for her first time in the Ninja A-League today.
Take it, step on if you want it. Good. Punish.
Sienna Dale was the player that, when asked if there was any new faces, youngsters that had really impressed Anthony Jaggernick so far this season. You know, coaches, they don't usually single out names, but he was quick to point out Sienna Dale, so that she has got all the qualities that should excite your average football fan. And that little burst down the left flank, we got a glimpse of some of them. Kayla Morrison knocking it back to Courtney Newbon. Good work that time by Kennedy White, and Victory a bit of panic to work with down the right flank. McMeekin set a task slightly too tall for Sophia Sakalis. Bertolicio just clearing that out to cover, but Already inside the opening 15 minutes, you are getting another chance to see the attacking license that Jeff Hopkins has afforded Zoe McMeekin this season. Policina going down and ground giving way beneath the feet of Nanako Sasaki. Victory have had the ball, really shown an intent to keep it moving and keep the tempo high. Sienna Dale. Good work with back to goal that time, and fast feet as well. It's another flash, but nothing more for her. Now defending to do at the opposite end. Furphy looking for Kennedy White again. It just whistles past the face of the penalty area. But any touch from the American, and we could be talking about a spectacular 7th. There's the shirt pull from Sienna Dale. Just lost out to the weight of numbers. Good advantage played by the referee to allow that one to really materialise in a meaningful goal-scoring chance for victory. Emma Robers. Struggling to connect their passes in the midfield third in particular. At the moment are Canberra. A bit of frustration for Anthony Jagaranek as Furphy saunters through the middle. That one just past the reach of Kennedy White, and it's safety first from Nanako Sasaki. They have had more of the passes, Canberra. It's been those ones that are meant to travel out of defence and into the final third that have been the pain point thus far. Policina in space, whisked the ball in, tipped away by Sally James, and Robers able to gather. Victory just have the capital opponents hemmed in at the moment. Lifted towards Furphy, who gets the header through the air, but it's easy pickings in the end for Sally James. It's made more saves so far this Ninja A-League season than any other goalkeeper. Kennedy White is having a lot of joy picking off passes and loose touches when she drops out of the attacking line for victory. Sakalis with room to roam down the left flank. Can she find a teammate in the middle? The answer is no. You might get a second crack though. Sakalis lifts it in. And here is Kennedy White. It should have been a second for the American. Well, she is Melbourne victories, misses everywhere. So no good on the first crack from Sakalis. And the second forced Taylor Young into a dangerous ball, and then Kennedy White went for power as opposed to placement. And Canberra get a little bit of a let-off in defence there. Victory are the first team in the early knockings of this season to stop Canberra from scoring in the opening 15 minutes. Disrupting that momentum. Really important part of Jeff Hopkins' game plan today, but there's still plenty of talent in this Canberra attack. It's just been a matter of getting them the service so far. Canberra have got to play it down, but victory for the moment we're continuing unperturbed. Heyman. Sienna Dale gets on her bike and is found wonderfully by Heyman. And Kayla Morrison equal to the task, as you would expect from the Victory captain. Have to keep an eye on Hayley Taylor-Young because she is back up to her feet, but moving in some discomfort. Anthony Jaggerneck wouldn't be keen to expand the injury list so early in the season. Welcoming back Sophia Christopherson today. Still no Chiara Di Domitio after her hamstring injury, and Lillian Skelly, of course, on the comeback trail from a knee injury last season. So Victory gained some meterage. Good to see that Taylor-Young looks to be moving freely again. McMeekin sizes up the cross. It's not quite her best, though. She has set a very high bar this season, in fairness. Have to be wondering if anyone from the New Zealand national team were keeping an eye on her performance against Perth in and amongst the Football Ferns action against the Matildas. Still without a debut senior call-up. It's Taylor-Young. This is a great run from her. And now Sienna Dale sizes it up. Bunge blocks. Grove contest. Here's Beth Gordon, deflected and in. Canberra United are level. And it's a stroke of luck that may have got them there, but they won't care. All square at the home of the Matildas. And it comes from a brilliant run down the left from Hayley Taylor-Young. The awkward deflection off Bunge allowed Gordon just to have a snapshot. And luck's a fortune for Canberra United. And for the first time in 220 minutes, find the back of the net against Melbourne Victory. And we have a game on our hands in the opening matchup of round 6. Well, well, well. How did the ladder leaders respond to that one? Because it's been a game where they have been largely unchallenged to that point. It's a defense splitting pass. Doesn't sit up for Sakalis, out of play. Without any danger to the Canberra United defense. Bethany Gordon, of course, has been credited with the goal. So it's goals in back-to-back games. Now for the 25-year-old midfielder. This one needing a bit more help than the previous one against Perth, but take them as they come. She still had to be alert to the loose ball, get a firm enough shot on target to create some defensive mayhem. Even if she has fallen victim to the commentator's curse that time, it wasn't her best pass. Kennedy White. Janchevsky. Sakalis. Great footwork from the youngster. Polisina coming in to connect, and just a slight change in that crediting of the goal scorer. The subsequent reviewers awarded it to Nanako Sasaki. So it's a very fortuitous first of the season for her. She'll be thanking Beth Gordon later, I would imagine. Yeah, it was a wicked touch that took it in the opposite direction that Courtney Newbon was travelling. However it went in, whoever it came off, Anthony Jagger and Nick will be very pleased to have restored parity in this fixture. Because now that monkey is off the back, perhaps Canberra can play a bit more freely. And here they come forward through Sasha Grove. Sasaki. Sienna Dale was lining it up. Sasaki wasn't aware. Taylor Young. Back to Bethany Gordon. Messino couldn't complete the 1-2, and Victory able to manage what looked a threatening situation fairly comfortably in the end. The likes of Sophia Sakalis and Rihanna Polosina will be well aware of the potential dangers posed by Josie Olasino. 10 goals and 8 assists in Olympia Victoria. Teammates, of course, of those two players I mentioned. As Lowe looks for the line breaker for Holly Furphy. For the first time today, Sally James happy just to sit pat with the ball until a good option avails itself. This time she goes long. Janchevsky heading that one away, and if you're a Victory fan, you'll be very pleased to see a continuation of a left flank in Alani Janchevsky and Sophia Sakalis, comprised entirely of players who grew up supporting Melbourne Victory. So we'll have another look at that equalising goal for Canberra. It was textbook pinball. There's Gordon, and Sasaki didn't know too much about it, but she certainly celebrated as though it was all calculated. That is a great moment for Canberra United to make a bit of a dry spell of scoring against Victory. It's a bit of a careless turnover from Holly Furphy, and it prompts a rather swift whistle from Rachel Mitchinson. So again, good use of the body by Sienna Dale to just put herself between defender and ball. And didn't leave Holly Furphy with a lot of alternative options. 18-year-old for Canberra has been rather bright down the left flank thus far. First season in the Ninja A-League for her. Courtney Newbon just sorting out the defensive organisation ahead of her. I was about to say defensive wall, but there's only one player in it. It's a bit of a split situation as Gordon delivers to the penalty spot. It was well weighted too. Bertolicio recycles, bending ball away by Morrison. And doesn't sit up for Taylor Young. Victory perhaps with a chance to counter. Polosina. Beautiful pass, but Anton will reach it first. And the football fern clears into the stands here at the home of the Matildas. A venue that has been, well, it's called the home of the Matildas. It may as well have a second name. Fortress of the Victory. Undefeated in their last 10 at this venue. Polosina darts the eyes up, whips it in. James punches clear again. And the setting sun is making life a little bit difficult for her with those right-hand side crosses. It's of course a challenge that will get easier over the course of this evening. Janchevsky, lovely shape on the ball. Awkward for Taylor Young. Gordon under pressure, unable to get it away. Still working on what the appropriate name for this venue should be. Here's the another look at that cross. I reckon Sally James just caught a glimpse of the sun as she went in the air to get a glove to that one. The Fortress of the Victory is one option. Of course, it's ground in the suburb of Bundoora, so the Bundoora Boneyard, perhaps? What is for certain is that generally when teams come here to play the victory, they do not win, as that is a great cross from Kennedy White. No willing recipients in and around the penalty area. That goal, just the 5th that Victory have conceded in their last 8 games at this venue, and the first of the new campaign. It's a bit of a loose touch from Anton, but does well to make sure that comes off the outstretched leg of Kennedy White. I'm sure many Canberra fans will be very pleased to have Liz Anton back in the heart of their defence. She only came back into Canberra's plans midway through the season, signing on the 21st of November after 3 rounds played. Furphy has robbed Bertolicio of the ball and driven it in early this time. It's a comfortable collection for Sally James. James again scans the field. This time heads for the head of Michelle Heyman. Not seen too much of the Matilda's star so far in this game. She's got a decent record of goals against the Victory, 10 in 26. Not her favourite opponent by any stretch, but still a impressive return. She was unavailable last year. It was Liz Anton who wore the captain's armband and took out Player of the Season honours for Canberra last year. Stints 1 and 2 broken up by a sojourn to Norway, playing for Kolbotn. McMeekin picking that one off low, lofting it over the top, and Furphy's there. The ball's in the back of the net. Well, the whistle sounds before it happens. And that will not be an end of the dry spell in front of goal for Holly Furphy. I think Rachel Mitchinson just not happy with the amount of attention Sophia Sakalis was paying to the back of Emma Robers. Robers, of course, another in this Canberra side, more than familiar with the surrounds of Melbourne. Former player for the Victory. Policina. Deflected out. Victory continue to rack up the first half set pieces. And save for that Nanako Sasaki equalizer. They've been on their A game so far. Interesting change of corner taker here. Janchevsky was on the left siders. Now it's Grace Maher, a former Canberra star. Sends the ball into the box. James collects. Bunge keeps it alive. And McMeekin perhaps didn't know the ball was heading her way. That switch of play will find Maher. Now Policina winding it in. Canberra coming up with the defensive intervention. It's just sneaked out of play before Emma Robers could try to prod it into the path of Sasha Grove. It's a wonderful delivery from Policina. Who's proving so far to be a signing worth her weight in gold since crossing the Melbourne Derby divide. 4 seasons at City. Sakalis with fancy footwork. Beautiful passing sequence from the Victory down the left. But Canberra come up with the stop. Heyman. Switching ball, brings out the best from Taylor Young. Olasino. The call of Anthony Jaggerneck just to relax. This is a side who are capable of playing fluently with possession. This time they go long though. Taylor Young has been gallivanting down that left-hand side in the last 10. That one a little past her reach. Just an intention from Tegan Bertolicio. Low. Making a 54th start in a row. Today is Rachel Lowe. It's been a game that has mostly been played in Victory's half. A lot of possession in that midfield third, but really elongated, fluid sequences of passing chains have been slightly harder to come by. And it is certainly a game into which Canberra have grown. Whenever you're in, it doesn't matter which Ninja A-League side you are, when you go down early to Melbourne Victory, the way they defend leads, you're actually thinking, at least in the back of your mind, as Tegan Bertolicio slams that one into the midriff of her head coach. I don't know if that fits into the purview of a potential club fine system, but definitely in the ballpark. Busy week, of course, for Tegan Bertolicio. Captain the Young Matildas against South Korea. Game 1 of the 2-game series. Australia winning both. Good retrieval of possession by Olasino. Spills out to Taylor Young. And after a bit of deliberation, Rachel Mitchinson does award the free kick to Josie Olasino. The 23-year-old American, her involvement in this game has expanded as the seconds have elapsed. Sienna Dale and Sasha Grove putting pressure on the Victory defence. It's Morrison who is being harassed and harangued by Sasha Grove. Kennedy White winning it back off Liz Anton. Good covering challenge by Sasaki. All ball. And even when their central defender gets beaten, it's great to see that they've got extra defensive coverage coming through. Grove. Olasino to reward the run of Heyman, but couldn't quite get the eye in to exact the pass. It's been interesting to observe in the opening month of the season how Anthony Jaggerneck has to fit in a couple of his fullbacks. That's a great ball over the top, but it's just past the reach of Grace Maher. He's very apologetic after that coming together with Sally James. And they can be awkward ones for keepers when a player is closing at you at speed like that and your arms are outstretched. And Maher had committed, and that knee against the shoulder is not one that will tickle for the 23-year-old. So out come the medical team to take care of her. They do, of course, have Koko Mastorovic in reserve if required. Saw her play a handful of games last year. This gives Jeff Hopkins a chance to issue some fresh instructions to his side. It gives us a chance to have a look back at the 2 goals of this first half so far. And it got off to a breakneck start, this one. It took the victory all of 4 minutes to open the ledger through a very familiar source this season. Holly Furphy putting it on a platter for Kennedy White. And with the aid of an extra touch, it was a 6th for the American. And then Canberra, with a stroke of deflection-based fortune of their own, drew level. 15 minutes later, Beth Gordon's shot coming off her teammate Nanako Sasaki, who was all smiles as it bent its way past Courtney Newbon and takes us to where we are now, which is level pegging. 1 apiece after 40 minutes at the home of the Matildas. And should the scores end this way at the half, it will give Canberra United a platform upon which to potentially spring their first win against Melbourne Victory for 8 years and 313 days. 12 long games now, 13 if you include this one, since their last win against the Victory all the way back in 2017. Grace Maher was still a youngster playing on the other side of this clash before even her first stint at the Victory. Furphy just couldn't keep that one alive. This has traditionally, so far this season, been a hot zone for scoring. Where the Victory are concerned, 6 of their goals of 10 this season have come in the final 15 minutes of first half. So Canberra will have to be on their guard as it's a long looping ball that Robers comes in to deal with, and maybe didn't hear a call from Sally James, maybe conscious of the earlier injury for her keeper. It's a corner for Victory in any case. It's just a bit betwixt and between. The lines of communication looked a little severed between defender and goalkeeper that time around. You don't want to afford free corners to Melbourne Victory. And it comes from Grace Maher. Canberra heads first to it. Well, one back though by Rachel Lowe. Bunge. Picked off by Sasha Grove. And Heyman loses out to the weight of numbers that time. Furphy winning it back. Now, Kayla Morrison going on a, well, I would say rare run forward, but she's shown herself over the years to be capable of going on an occasionally marauding run from centre back. Does lead the league in carries this season and carry distance. She's on the ball, it tends to travel forward. So a couple of minutes to go before the half-time break. It'll be a break into which Canberra would enter very happy should the scoreline stay as it is. And Olasino is being attacked from all angles by Grace Maher there. It's a pretty easy decision for Rachel Mitchinson, and it is the game's first card. So Grace Maher marks a game against her former side with a yellow ticket. Yep, Rachel Mitchinson had a front row seat. It's as open and shut a case as you're likely to see. Fortunately for her, Canberra not able to make too much of the free kick. It was, in fairness, to Liz Anton in a bit of an awkward position. You don't see very many central right on halfway free kicks that are taken long. Left the winger with a little bit to do that time. Sienna Dale. Sasha Grove. Back at the club this season from Western United. Olasino delivering. Heyman lurking. Last touch off Zoe McMeekin for a Canberra United corner. As we tick in to 3 minutes of stoppage time, and McMeekin just wanted to get any touch because any touch for her meant no touch for Michelle Heyman, and in those sort of situations you do not want the Ninja A-League's all-time top scorer anywhere near it. One arm aloft from Nanako Sasaki. Heyman is there, Morrison away, and helped on its way by Rachel Lowe. Haley Taylor-Young signaled for a Canberra ball. She gets her wish. Maybe just a little bit too cute as she tried to thread the needle in the Sienna Dale direction. Bertolicio. Just missing that one, Taylor-Young. Great header from Kayla Morrison. Off the corner, such a commanding presence from set-piece situations, both when attacking and defending them. Riding off the back of her third victory medal win in a row. First player ever to do that in the Ninja A-League for Melbourne Victory. Beth Gordon. Final seconds of the first half here. Is there an opportunity for one last push for either of these two sides to change our level scoreline before the interval? Morrison stood firm, and the free kick goes in her way. Sasha Grove just coming in a little too hot and heavy. Curious seeing her in a more advanced position this year, as Anthony Jagranek has had to juggle the plethora of players who have played at fullback at his disposal this year. Enjoyed the extra attacking license so far this season. A return from Western United. Bertolicio. Big up and under. Bunge. The commanding aerial presence, but the second ball spills here for Sienna Dale. And now Heyman with a first-time shot. Dale did the defending for her, unfortunately. And victory come the other way. Ma darting the eyes up, looking to release the run of Kennedy White. Anton watches it all the way, and the full-time or half-time whistle sounds with a level scoreline at the home of the Matildas. All to play for on the other side of the break. Kennedy White's goal in the opening 4 minutes got us going before a fortuitous equalizer for Nanako Sasaki sets this one up for a big second 45 to come. All to play for on the other side of the break, but at half-time, it's Melbourne Victory 1, Canberra United 1. Let's get a glimpse of the highlights from the opening 45, and this game provided us highlights in rather quick fashion. It took all of 4 minutes for the game's opening goal. A delightful cross down the right from Holly Furphy. Kennedy White's fantastic run in front of goal culminated in a 6th of the season. And at that point, Canberra United fans might have been forgiven for thinking, well, it's going to be one of those days again against Melbourne Victory, because they did continue to threaten the goal. The second ball from Sophia Sakalis fell to the lap of Kennedy White, and well, that's the moment upon which Victory will be reflecting. Because if Kennedy White scores that, it's a very different game. But instead, Canberra found their way back into it. A great run from Haley Taylor-Young, and then a couple of big deflections. Bethany Gordon has a pop, and then just sticking a leg out in hope. Nanako Sasaki got full reward for her first goal of the season, and Canberra's first goal in 222 minutes against Melbourne Victory. despite the fact that Victory have had more of the ball, it's been Canberra who have had more of the shots. Even if Victory have perhaps had more of the penalty area threats, Canberra haven't been afraid to let a few go from distance, but you can imagine that shot count will continue to tick up in the second 45 because the 3 points remain up for grabs. Stick around for the halftime break after this.
From Williams, back to Harrison, and that's the opening goal. Cooney Cross, who's going to have a pop, and she's going to score another goal. Can it be 5? Skips around, it is 5. What a goal, and what a complete performance. 5-0 in the Sydney derby.
She'll have what a ball there through for Courtney Vine. The first goal of the W League season goes to Courtney Vine.
The goalkeepers union may not agree. Here's the ball off the bar, and it's finally across the line. It's a really costly giveaway because Sydney FC have made it 2-0.
To see the ball laid off for Simpson. She goes in. Oh my goodness! Robbie Simpson just from outside of the box.
This is the Courtney Vine we know. What a finish! Courtney Vine! And now the volley! Palmed in! And it's a first A-League women's goal for Kirsty Benton!
And there is the finish. And that will seal the 3 points for Sydney FC.
It's Kaylee Talon Henniker!
Cutting it square, Dos Santos! It's a slice of Sydney derby history. (2,179 days). Hard to believe it's been that long since the Wanderers' last goal in the Sydney Derby. You've got that game to look forward to later this weekend. But here at the home of the Matildas, it is locked at 1 apiece. Kennedy White was the scorer for Victory. Let's catch up with Victory's new American. We spoke to her earlier this week.
Janchevsky towards the back post. Morrison is there, and it's their new signing, Kennedy White, who gets the final touch. She gets the goal on her debut that her play has perhaps deserved.
What I heard about Melbourne Victory before I signed was that it was a big club, lots of fans, high energy games. I know there's a lot of support on the men's side too, and I think the women's side is growing too, so I'm really excited to just see the fans out there and play at Amy Park. I think we have a lot of resources. It's been really professional. Every day we have a set routine and a good standard that we follow, so it's been great so far. Well, the people here are awesome. My housemates are amazing. The team is great. I have 3 other roommates, Chelsea, Rachel, and Sienna. I think I'm a high energy player up top.
Now the long ball, Kennedy White. She's got the burners on, takes a touch, sends it home, and Kennedy White, 2 goals in 2 games in the Ninja A-League and brings Melbourne Victory back level.
Press, get in behind, make big runs, score goals, and assist when I can.
Kennedy White strikes again. The American makes it 2.
And then just be supportive to the team and have everyone's back.
McMeekin now looking to drive it in and through. And Kennedy White has a hat-trick.
I heard it was really fast, athletic, some great players coming in and out, some even coming to the US and back. So I was really excited about that and just playing with new players and new teams and kind of looking around Australia too, seeing the different states and stuff.
Lots of talk about how Emily Gilnick could possibly be replaced in this Melbourne Victory side. But 4 goals in 2 games, including a hat-trick. Kennedy White, well, that is some finish from her.
Yeah, 6 goals in 6 games. What a signing she has been so far. The fans are loving what they're seeing. Of course, that most recent 6th coming in this game. Let's have a look at the goals from the first half at the home of the Matildas. He's locked at 1 apiece between Melbourne Victory and Canberra United. But it was the player of the moments, Kennedy White, at the forefront of Victory's forward line again. Molly Furphy with a delightful delivery, and just the faintest of touches was enough for a half dozen in as many games for the American. The same tally as Emily Gilnick managed in the opening 6 rounds of last season. It wasn't all smooth sailing though for Victory, because Canberra, with a bit of fortune, found their way back into level pegging. Beth Gordon's shot deflecting off Nanako Sasaki and into the back of the net for an all-important equalizer that sets up a massive second stanza to come here at the Matildas. Second half coming up on the other side of the break, but don't forget the Asian Cup is right around the corner and you can catch every game on Channel 10 and Paramount Plus.
1, 2, 3, best believe I got something up my sleeve. I'm a queen and I'm coming for my throne. Should've known your days were numbered. It's my turn, watch and learn.
Welcome back to the home of the Matildas. The opening game of round 6 in the Ninja A-League has been entertaining and is delicately poised with 45 minutes still to come. All square between Melbourne Victory and Canberra United. Kennedy White got us off to a hot start, scoring her 6 in the first 4 minutes before United equalised with a stroke of luck off Nanako Sasaki. And it is Canberra who have made a substitution at the interval. American Emma Hawkins has come on in place of 18-year-old Sienna Dale. So fresh legs in the front line for Canberra. As Anthony Jagaranek looks to turn a 1-0 deficit into a potential comeback for a first win against Melbourne Victory for Canberra in 8 years. There's an unfamiliar territory, unfamiliar starts to this game relative to the opening month of fixtures that Canberra have enjoyed in the Ninja A-League this season, where they open the scoring not just in every game they played, but in the first 15 minutes of every game they played. So it's a rather different complication to find themselves on the back foot, just as Rihanna Policina has found herself on the back foot of Sasha Grove that time. So an early set piece coming for the hosts. Not many complaints or protestations from Sasha Grove. Sally James organising her wall. She will be very keen to avoid the eventuality that befell her in the first 45, conceding in the opening few minutes. They've got some talented technicians over this free kick, though, have Victory, and some willing attackers in the penalty area. It's Policina lifting the ball in and just past the reach of Kayla Morrison. Canberra will be very happy to see that one out of play. It is just about the first foots that Rihanna Policina has put wrong since signing from Melbourne City. Three goals already in 5 games since crossing the Derby divide in search of more regular game time. Played only 47% of available match minutes for City last season in the Ninja A-League. Still managed 10 goal contributions, the 4th season in a row that she's done that. So it was a headline acquisition. It was a eyebrow-raising move. She's rewarded Melbourne Victory so far. And here she is again, Rihanna Policina outside of the football. Second crack comes off Kennedy White. Policina lifts in again. Robers in the road. Corner ball coming for Melbourne Victory. Short of her goal-scoring exploits, Policina, she also leads the Ninja A-League so far in shot-creating actions. Alongside Alani Anchevsky going into this game. Fingers crossed for another shot-creating action here from this corner. Policina's delivery. Canberra clear once more. They have managed those set-piece situations very well, by and large, so far this game. They were the second-best defenders of set-piece situations last season, Canberra. Only conceded 4 corners. The only team better, would it surprise you to guess, Melbourne Victory. The league's best defence last season, proving themselves a formidable attack. In 25-26, 11 goals scored. Most of any side so far. McMeekin. A right-footed cross this time from her, and James judges it really well. Keen to get Canberra moving quickly in this second 45. Sasha Grove. It's a great gallop as well. Good sliding challenge from Alana Janchevski. Hearty applause from the Victory faithful. Kennedy White, lovely turn. Goes down. And a whistle swiftly following. The Ninja A-League slowly but surely learning just what a handful Kennedy White is. She may be a tall attacker. Moments like that show you that she's got a bit of technical prowess as well for a target forward. Ma. Sakalis. Up the line for Lowe, who read it well. It's Rachel Lowe still going. Here's Holly Furphy. Oh, it's a superb block from Tegan Bertolicio to deny what perhaps should have been a second for Victory. And Furphy's wait for a first goal since the 9th of March against Canberra is going to go on. It's set up for her, just the first touch perhaps, leaving a touch to be desired. It just allowed Tegan Bertolicio to slip in. So Janchevski from the far side this time. It bounces inside the penalty box. Policina. Dominant corner count for Victory. Janchevski lifting it in. Sally James equal to the task. Janchevski continuing to operate in a fullback role this season. Slowly but surely become a star of the Ninja A-League. Fullback wasn't necessarily the place you would have expected that star to rise, though. She may well face competition for that position when Chelsea Blissett makes her return from injury in the next little while. One of 3 on the injury list for the Victory at the moment. Nikki Flannery. Jeff Hopkins is expecting that she'll be back in training from next week and potentially available for selection for that upcoming game against Adelaide United. And the other, Sienna Silvesca. The situation still ongoing. Speaks to the embarrassment of riches Jeff Hopkins has got, that thus far their absences have been barely noted. Well, that said, there have been a few blips on the radar for Victory this season. The opening round defeat to Raw. First ever loss to the Phoenix, as Furphy gets around one defender, can't beat a second. Hayley Taylor-Young tracking back nicely. Despite the calls you might have heard on the sideline of Grace Maher, it is Alana Janchevski. Set piece situation, Judy's here. It's a decent ball as well. McMeekin towards goal, but off targets. She's already have 1 goal in her new colours. Zoe McMeekin, the 4th and final against Western Sydney back in round 2. Ma managed to evade the danger of Emma Hawkins with grace and composure. Pun not intended. Sasha Grove. And intercepted by Alana Janchevski. Hawkins manages to find the short option in Olasino. Beth Gordon. Delicate little pass. This is great play from Canberra. Hawkins. And here is Sasha Grove! Oh, fantastic! Canberra have turned it around from 1-0 down. And it's the first goal of her Canberra United return for Sasha Grove. And Canberra United lead a side they have not beaten in 8 years. And it came courtesy of some fantastic football. Olasino's pass for Hawkins. Grove's movement was clever, and how about the placement? Off the post and in. Canberra United in position for a potentially historic win, and look at what it means to Sasha Grove. Just a second goal in 76 Ninja A-League appearances, her first in 2 years. And most importantly, the first goal back at home since returning from Western United. And now we've got an interesting test on our hands for the victory. Every shot on target this evening has been a goal. That is as good as you can hope. Well, Bertolicio comes off ahead. Heyman lurking for it. Gordon contests. Victory can't clear. Play drawn dead. It was billed in the lead up as a clash between two of the competition's top scorers so far in the early knockings. And with conversion rates like that, you can make a solid argument that it has delivered thus far. But all of a sudden, it is Melbourne Victory having to come back from behind. A position they do not rarely, or do not find themselves in often, as Furphy chops it back. Play was already dead by the time Holly Furphy was able to latch onto the ball. Just remember, in case you missed it in the first half, across the past 2 seasons, Victory have scored the first goal of a game and have never lost in 22 games. So perhaps as they look to defend what they've got, Anthony Jagrenek is turning to the bench. Emma Robers vacates the field of play. And it's a return to the home of the Matildas for American Jasmine Wardlow. She'll have happy memories of this venue, where she knocked Melbourne Victory out of the finals on penalties with the Central Coast Mariners back in the 23-24 season. Returned to the Ninja A-League this year after a stint in Europe playing Champions League football with Galatasaray. So that's lifted over the top for Rachel Lowe. No flag comes up. Wardlow immediately into the action to defend. Last pass. Second one was much better than the first. Janchevsky nearly with a brilliant line breaker. Taylor Young. Gordon helps it on its way. Furphy giving chase and winning it back well. Wardlow in the road. Whatever Anthony Jagrenek said to his charges at the halftime break has clearly worked. So, if you look back at their challenges to create in the first half, it was that ability to connect coherent passing movements, particularly getting the ball into the final third, that really let them down. And yet that go-ahead goal from Sasha Grove was as fluent, as easy on the eye as any you're likely to see this weekend. But here come the Victory. Alana Janchevsky pokes it forward to Furphy. Sasaki looping it away, but it's coming back in the opposite direction just as quickly as it's cleared at the minute. That's the kind of football that this season Canberra are capable of at their best. It was shades of their third goal against Perth in their last game, where It's lovely one-touch play, great runs out of midfield, movement from the wingers. Everything you want to see if you're a Canberra United fan. And here's Heyman White on the right. More options to aim at in the middle as well, as Newbon has had to retrace her steps slightly to collect that one. Possibly a pleasing sign from the Canberra perspective is that this 2-goal turnaround has been completed largely in the absence of Michelle Heyman. So often in years gone by, they have had to rely heavily on her. McMeekin buys a yard, and the cross, not the Kiwis' best. I say Kiwi, she represents New Zealand at international level. Was born here in Melbourne, but grew up in Christchurch before 4 seasons at the Wellington Phoenix. It's one of the last remaining members of their inaugural squad before departing for the victory. Grace Maher. Back to Furphy. And McMeekin will look to have a second go. And she can keep it in play, but it's no greater an end result. Sally James launches it long. We'll remember that Melbourne Victory have already come back from behind once this season. It's conceding first against Western Sydney. It's the first comeback win they've had in 9 games. It is rare territory for them. This might sit up for Kennedy White, but at full stretch. Canberra able to deny the American, even if it has come at some personal cost for Liz Anton. Her hands full this evening. It's the 25-year-old American. Here is Kennedy White. Knocking it back. Pollicina! Comfortably gathered in the end by Sally James, but she has that in the locker. And some Rihanna Pollicina. Scored from similar range against Perth with the aid of a deflection last week. So remiss of us not to forget, even if it happened in defeat, her debut banger against Brisbane. It's Furphy. Trusts herself in the foot race with Wardlow and wins out. The early cross collected by Anton and cleared for safety. Let's take another look at that effort. She certainly got behind it, struck it well, but well judged by James. Bouncing ball, Kennedy White was looking to tee up a teammate. Bertolicio came in as Maher sets her sights, and it's another simple situation for Sally James. Actually didn't have a great deal of saves to make in the first half. A few more racking up in this second stanza, even if this one from Grace Maher was comfortable. Another player who is capable of long-range spectaculars, the 140-game Ninja A-League veteran. And this is a great moment on the way here at the home of the Matildas. Hayley Taylor-Young, who did come a cropper with injury concerns a few times in the first half, will make way. And it is a welcome return from injury for 21-year-old Sophia Christopherson. She missed the opening month of the season with a bit of a hip concern, so she's in for her first appearance since the final game of last season. An elimination final against the Central Coast Mariners. Canberra's first finals appearance in 4 seasons. She is one of those 13 players picked out in the first half that have never beaten Melbourne Victory, either for Canberra or any club. They are 25 minutes away from the end of a 13-game Melbourne victory malaise. But 25 is still plenty of football to be played. Here's Heyman. Double deflection off the cross. Can only imagine that victory will continue to up the ante. As the seconds of this game tick by. Well, 3 points could have ensured that victory stayed top for another weekend. This would provisionally send Canberra up to third. If the weekend's football to be played as Heyman drives her effort into the arms of Courtney Newbon. And at long last, we've had a few shots on target that haven't gone in this game. It was 3 from 3 after Sasha Groves' go-ahead goal. Just created the angle for herself really nicely, Michelle Heyman, even if the eventual effort was lacking in purchase. Here's Hawkins. It's the final decision here. Meakin is convinced that it is not a corner, and the referee agrees. Emma Hawkins, her first taste of the Ninja A-League this season. And come through the US college system in Oklahoma and Arkansas. European stints in Portugal and Iceland. This is the most minutes she's going to get in a single game since signing for Canberra. We have to see victory turn to their bench. Jeff Hopkins is often someone who does tend to trust in his starting 11. Sakalis, lovely disguised pass for Rachel Lowe. Policina, heavy first touch from Lowe, the second not a bad one. Sakalis at full stretch, Furphy, Lowe, no offside flag, it does come up eventually to put a pin in what was looming as a very, very impressive victory move, and Jeff Hopkins' ears must have been burning because here is his first substitution, and it is Taylor Ray arriving onto the field in place of Grace Maher, and to hearty acclaim as well. Saw her play her first game for victory off the bench last week. Here's Christopherson. Heyman in support. That is where it heads. Heyman's early ball, Newbon's second guessed. And in the end, Sasha Grove couldn't do much with the eventual spillage. Such an awkward ball from Heyman, though. And Grove, I fancy, just a victim of an unfortunate double touch. So Taylor Ray looking to get things moving quickly. Reigning Mariners medalist, reigning champion of the Ninja A-League. Fourth championship gong already at just 24 years of age. They seem to follow her wherever she goes. Jeff Hopkins will be hoping that that trend continues to a third Ninja A-League club. Furphy. Moving in the right-hand side with menace. Oh, Sakalis was lining up for something special. Low. Victory certainly upping their intensity as they search for an equalizer. Sakalis goes down, full-bodied from Bertolicio. Free kick coming for Melbourne victory. She's played some high-octane defensive football in this second half. Tegan Bertolicio, Sophia Sakalis, the player who bears the brunt this time. was uncompromising from the 19-year-old. So it gives the left foot of Alani Janchevski something to work with from a reasonable angle here. A big 20 minutes to come should Victory equalise from this set piece. Janchevski's ball into an awkward area. Canberra clear, but Sally James was in two minds as to whether or not to go for it. McMeekin sends it back in. James was really confident with Kayla Morrison in the danger zone. Victory just have not had their usual control and dominance of attacking set-piece situations, as has been their want over the last season and a bit, to include last year. Head-to-head meetings in the Ninja A-League. Canberra United have only beaten Victory 4 times away from home. Not since 2017. Heyman marching away, setting her sights on goal, but not enough to trouble Courtney Newbon. But it would be a concerning sign for Victory, is that her influence on the game, her shooting opportunities are growing. The 2-1 deficit is manageable. 3-1 becomes a slightly trickier prospect. And the crowd is telling the story there. Not best pleased with the stickler behaviour of Rachel Mitchinson, ordering that throw in to be taken exactly from where the ball travelled out, but them's the rules. Taylor Ray. Oh, fantastic footwork from Janchevski. And the pass, a great one as well. Low width options, can only find Anton, who side foots it out of danger. Another Victory change coming the way of Sophia Sakalis, unable to replicate her goal-scoring efforts against her former side Perth last week. Ella O'Grady, her replacement. Jeff Hopkins, favourite substitute last season. Came off the bench more times than any other player in the Ninja A-League last year. And the wise old head is calling on her again as Kennedy White glances towards goal, but always travelling away from the nets of Sally James. Yeah, still so early into the season. It is in such a nascent stage. See, Victory, despite the deficit, have had more of the penalty area threat thus far. Should this result hold, Victory would be staring down the barrel of a 3rd loss already this season, which, when you consider their ambitions to compete for the premiership, the fact that Melbourne City, of course, did not lose a single game last year. Victory themselves only lost 2. Be a point of concern for Jeff Hopkins as their corner dominance continues. 8-1. Still without profit, though. The onus on Policina this time to deliver well, and deliver well she does. It's an awkward one for Sally James, who flaps at it with Morrison for company. Canberra deal with the danger once more, as the final 15 minutes are almost upon us at the home of the Matildas. Canberra getting closer to a history-making curse-breaking win against the Victory in Melbourne. How badly do Melbourne Victory want it? This is a real test of their early season resolve. Header from McMeekin just made life really difficult for Sally James. It's just not what you want to see if you're a goalkeeper. The ball up in the air like that. Canberra injecting some fresh legs into midfield. Darcy Malone coming on in place of Josie Olasino. Good performance in the middle of the park for her today. Instead, a player who has beaten Victory before in Darcy Malone, as O'Grady wants a well-intentioned pass, but there's no one home to collect. Next season in the A-League for Darcy Malone. Second at Canberra after stints at Sydney FC and Melbourne City. His landmark achievements. Anthony Jaggerneck in still the 29th game of his Canberra United tenure will still remain guiding them back to finals for the first time in 4 seasons last year. This will be one to hang up on the mantelpiece if it holds. Malone, Christopherson, early ball, awkward, in for 3-1. Turned in by Kayla Morrison, and Canberra United have an insurance policy on their 1-goal advantage, and they are closing in on the end of their victory curse at the home of the Matildas. Christopherson's ball created chaos. Morrison stretched the leg out, and the player who you rarely see make a mistake in those situations is the one who turns it in. And Canberra United have one hand on a first win against the Melbourne Victory in Melbourne since the 28th of December 2016. Kayla Morrison has made their life just a fraction easier. And now, Melbourne Victory have given themselves a mountain to climb. The Victory crowd at the home of the Matildas are almost stunned by what they're seeing here in Bundoora. This venue where they haven't lost all year. They've lost just 3 times in 18 games they've hosted at this venue. Staring down the barrel of a 3rd defeat inside 6 rounds. This will be a result that will raise eyebrows across the Ninja A-League should it hold. They are a team that many tipped to make good on their misgivings last season, narrowly missing out on the championship to the Mariners on penalties. And they're going to need to show some championship character if they're going to fight back in this one. Right now, everything is coming up Canberra United. The fortune has certainly favoured them today between Hanako Sasaki's deflected goal, Kayla Morrison turning it into her own net. Victory scores swiftly though. It's on for a grandstand finish. They were late game specialists last season, and now the tempers are starting to flare between Michelle Heyman and Rachel Lowe. That's what can happen sometimes if you think you've won the foul and you pick up the ball in protest. Beware the early crow, because it can go against you. Launch from Bertolissio. And that possession in each third statistic has totally flipped from the first half. It was Victory who had the majority of the ball in their end in the first half. Second has been a different story. This looks like a concerning one for Ella O'Grady. Alana Janchevsky went down in the previous challenge. This seems as though it could be a nasty one for the 20-year-old. Just came down awkwardly on that left arm. We'll have another look. The goal that's taken us and taken Canberra within reach of a famous Victory win. Christopherson's cross just made it uncomfortable for Kayla Morrison. And that's a sign of what an off-colour day it's been for the Victory. If you see Kayla Morrison doing that, you know it's been an off day. Would be a result that would send Canberra provisionally third on the Ninja A-League table, with the weekend's football to come, of course. We also have a game in hands on Melbourne Victory, as do pretty much every other club in the league, with the exception of Perth Glory. So the medical staff just going through some tests with Ella O'Grady. Seems as though maybe not as severe as first thought, as that is a wonderful ball with just a bit too much weight on it to reach Zoe McMeekin. Sally James will be happy to gather all of those up. And Victory will have some chances, should they lose this one today, to atone in the next couple of weeks. It's a massive original rivalry clash coming up next week against Adelaide United for a trip away from the home of the Matildas. Looks as though Ella O'Grady will be right to continue, which is a source of great relief. And this result, should it hold, is the perfect start for this run of games that Canberra has got. You can see the rounds, but it is 3 games in the next 15 days. Sydney FC, Melbourne City and the Mariners all coming up in a short space of time. 3 big tests for them as the needle is threaded for Christopherson. Here's Heyman! Oh, that would have been the sealer for sure. Michelle Heyman casts her head to the heavens. She is in disbelief as to how she hasn't slid that one in for a 4th. And perhaps in disbelief as to how it wasn't a spot kick as well. That is the case that some on the Canberra bench are making. And if it's not a corner kick, then it should be a infringement awarded against Claudia Bunge for pulling back Heyman. Rachel Mitchinson seeing that incident slightly differently. But all of it amounts to seconds chewed away for Canberra, who right now are looking more likely to put the icing on this one than Victory are to score the goal that would set up a grandstand finish. Perhaps that could change here though. McMeekin. That cross is lacking, and Jeff Hopkins, you might have been able to hear, not afraid to let his feelings be known. It's been a tricky half for McMeekin. The Right-hand side deliveries have been a long way short of her best. Victory at large have been a long way short of their best. Low. McMeekin. Another opportunity wide on the right. Can't find the angle. Sasha Grove happy to just hold her up. Bunch switching the play. And Chesky glancing it on. And low contested. But Canberra come up with it through Hawkins. And she wins it back again. Well done by the American. She wanted play stopped. Referee awards the advantage. Christopherson can't gather. Well won back by Ella O'Grady. And that one, she did such great work to win it back, but pass forward just with too much pepper from the super sub. It all amounts to more seconds happily chewed away by the club from the capital. And it is getting towards now or never time for victory. (16 previous trips to the state of Victoria. Canberra United have come up empty 15 of them. 6 losses in a row on the road in Melbourne. Could that all be set to come to an end? Could they hand Melbourne Victory their first loss at the home of the Matildas in 600 days? Could they create a very big headache for Jeff Hopkins? No wonder he's stretching out and chewing the gum. That is the sign of an anxious man. Hanako Sasaki limping her way off the field. A quick swig of the pickle juice for her. Good use of the body by McMeekin. Furphy forward, that one touched on. It's a crucial touch, in fact, in the midfield line from Bethany Gordon that allows Sally James to smother the ball. Starting to get real for Canberra. A real headline-making result. Victory haven't given up the ghost yet, but it will have to be the latest of late shows if they are going to salvage something. Hawkins. Heyman clears the space. Back to Darcy Malone. It's that tense atmosphere hanging over the home of the Matildas. Victory fans are probably in shock with what they're seeing as they make another substitution as they look to desperately change this one. 19-year-old Sienna Teixeira coming on for her 5th substitute appearance of the season already. No player in the Ninja A-League has come on more. Zoe McMeekin, the player she's replacing. So if that isn't a sign that Jeff Hopkins is going for this one late on, I don't know what is. Teixeira, graduate of Victory's Women's Pathway program. Here comes Kayla Morrison marching forward. Mentioned she likes to go on those runs now and again. This one wins them a throw. And I wonder if Morrison might look to just stay forward for what remains of this game. Here's the cross into the middle. It's missed by Kennedy White. Furphy's control found wanting. Polisina couldn't fire away. Christopherson can't clear. It's out for a Canberra goal kick. All those little deflections, all those 50-50 moments just seem to be breaking the way of the visitors this evening. Sally James will be looking to get this one as long as it can go. She is not far away from marking her 50th Ninja A-League appearance with her first win against the Victory after 4 failed previous attempts. Bertolicio, another who would potentially end the hoodoo. Janchevsky, Kennedy White. Wonderful footwork from the American, who can't catch out James at her near post. Took a touch though, so we will get a corner kick to take us into 6 additional minutes at the home of the Matildas. This is such a handful. The corners come in early for Victory. But Canberra equal to the task once again. With a long roost. Morrison wins it in the air. Bertolicio couldn't clear. Kennedy White contested. The shot on the turn from Furphy is pulled wide. And you just have to wonder how many more chances will Victory get in this game in stoppage time to get even a foothold for something to chase. Just get the sense that this one is trending towards a special day for Canberra United. Christopherson. I wouldn't know she's a player on the comeback trail from off-season hip injury. She's provided a shed load of energy since being called upon by Anthony Jaggerneck in this second half. Good stuff by Furphy. Wardlow nipping at the heels and giving away the free kick. Everything has to go right for Victory from here. And it has to go quickly. Bunch takes the ball deep. Furphy can't win it. Christopherson away. Taylor Ray. It's a lovely bending ball, glanced on by O'Grady. Free kick spotted in the build-up. Liz Anton just collected in flight by Ella O'Grady. Maybe just see the overzealousness in that one. So we are minutes away from a really peculiar situation where Victory went the entirety of last season, having never lost, after scoring first last year. As the cross comes in, Canberra away once more. "22 consecutive games without defeat after opening the scoring. Could finally be coming to an end for Victory." Here's the Chera firing on goal, but can't find the target. That's been the problem for Victory in their late run chase. Just have not tested Sally James enough. But credit the energy and industry of Sienna Teixeira, even if the effort was wanting at the end. So not only is that run of Victory defending their leads potentially coming to an end, it's possibly a 3rd loss of the season after 6 rounds, more than the entirety of last year. Now, of course, injured players still to return. They are not at their full complement, but this is still a very strong side. You can't take anything away from Canberra. Their second half performance in particular has been fantastic after going in to the sheds at level pegging. This one is one they will celebrate all the way back to the Capital Territory. As Bunge Newborn
Relax! Relax!
tried to go long and direct. It didn't work. Beth Gordon, was she thinking about trying to catch the keeper off her line? Instead, she goes short to Heyman, who can't just thread the needle for Bethany Gordon. Yanchevsky, heavy first touch. Christopherson, and now Sasha Grove. Fires away, stings the palms of Courtney Newborn. She is so close to being the hero of a famous Canberra win. Furphy. Options to aim at. Can she find one? She nearly can. Punched away. And it will be a free kick in favour of the Canberra United keeper. And that will send us into the final seconds of second half stoppage time. She has provided energy off the bench, Ella O'Grady, but unfortunately the last couple of opportunities she's had to show it, it's been sadly misused. And I'm not shocked that Emma Hawkins is in no rush to take that throw. Canberra will revel in the sweet feeling of this one as long as it lasts. We have waited such a long time for a night like this. 12 games without a win against the Victory. It comes to an end at the home of the Matildas. Canberra United get their first win against Melbourne Victory in 8 years and 313 days. And they came back from behind to do it in style. Sasha Grove and an own goal for Kayla Morrison, making the difference in the second half. And for the first time in a long time, Anthony Yagranek's side will head home from a game against Melbourne Victory with all 3 points to their name. The full-time score in Bundoora, Melbourne Victory 1, Canberra United 3. This is a result that will send some shockwaves across the Ninja A-League, and inside the opening 5 minutes, it didn't necessarily look particularly likely because Victory got off to a flying start inside 4 minutes. Holly Furphy putting it on a platter for Canberra.